Hello, welcome to the first low-fat gaming FATcast. I'm Dave Green, and with me is Matt Reynolds.
Hello.
And ex-convict Bill Boreham, all the way from Australia.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us. Obviously, this is our first one. We're doing this by Skype, seeing as I'm in Ireland, Matt's in England, and Bill is in Australia. So let us, if there's any kind of hiccups along the way, just bear with us. We're using Skype at the moment, so we'll see how it goes. So basically what we're going to do today is we're going to tell us a little bit about the site, see what we've been playing, talk about some shit, and probably a bit of random stuff as well. And then we'll answer some of your questions, just like it used to be on the old Xbox World podcast, which I'm sure some of you are familiar with. So we started the site 2 weeks ago, just because we feel like there's a bit of a gap for people that wanted good writing, strong opinions, a bit of fun, and just sort of we just wanted to bring that back a little bit and give people a home where they can come and talk about games, films, whatever they want to talk about. It's been going pretty well. We've been getting some good content on there every day. We've got big plans for the future, and we're really thankful for the support that you've all been giving us so far. And this is a little bit of a thank you from us to you, so we thought we'd do a podcast that we're going to try and do at least every fortnight anyway. Obviously we can't, there might be a couple of times where it might be 3 weeks, but we'll see how often we can get it. So I say I'm Dave, I'm the guest editor of the site. What I do is basically I do a bit of writing. The guys will send me some of their stuff in. I'll have a look over it, we'll discuss about what we're going to do, sort of articles we're going to do, things we want to do, plans and all that sort of stuff, and get it on the site. And basically I do a lot of the tweeting with Bill and some of the Facebook stuff as well. So Matt, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do for the site?
Yeah, well, I'm doing a lot of opinion pieces at the minute. Somehow along the way, over the last couple of years, I've gained this reputation for being a little bit angry. Don't know how that came about. But yeah, so I'll do hate box every week. I'm sure you've already seen a couple of them that I've done. And it's kind of, a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but at the same time, I'm trying to make a point. And it's, to get people talking and debating and things, really. And I've done a couple of reviews as well. I did the Dead Space review and the Aliens Colonial Marines one, which I wish I hadn't done. Now I've played the game. But yeah, so that's where we are at the minute as far as what I'm doing goes.
All right, so Bill, what about yourself? What are you up to?
Actually, before I introduce myself, did you guys remember to go to the toilet and all that? Take a shit. I sit on Facebook. I was like, go take a shit and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
I was okay before. I'm an adult, so I can look after myself.
I'm sat by the fridge, so if I do one, I'll just freeze it. It's fine. Save it for later. Put it in the toilet.
Okay. So I'm one of the writers. I also handle all the design of the website. I do all the the cover for the Facebook and the profile picture and all that. And as David said, I also update the Twitter and Facebook. So so far, I've just done mainly like retrospectives and stuff. I did one on Fahrenheit and a point-and-click game, Gemini Rue. So yeah, there'll be more of that stuff from me in the future. So, yep.
Very good, very good. I should just point out as well, obviously, I didn't actually say what sort of stuff I write. I'm kind of looking at writing sort of like current affair sort of thing, you could say. So like the state of play is usually my column, which is basically stuff that's been happening recently. I just did the one on the PS4 reveal and what it means for the next Xbox, which went on about an hour ago. So hopefully you enjoy that and another read of it. I did the Metal Gear Revengeance review, which brings us on to what have we been playing lately. So, Matt, what have you been playing lately?
Right, well, I mean, as you know, I've been playing Aliens, but I think we're going to talk about that a little bit later on in more depth, aren't we? So we'll move on to a bit of Metal Gear, yeah. I'm absolutely loving it so far. I've not played a huge amount, probably about 40 minutes, something like that, but bloody hell, that game's frenetic, to say the least. Yeah, absolutely love it.
You've nearly finished it now, then, if you've been playing it 40 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's 40 minutes that I've been playing the game. I've been watching it for about 10 hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, really good fun. I'm surprised actually because I'm not a fan of Platinum really. It's not that I think their games are bad. It's just not for me really, that whole genre. But it feels different. Maybe it's because I'm a Metal Gear fan, but I absolutely love it. Really good fun. Really like the slicing mechanic they've brought into it.
As a Metal Gear fan, because I like Metal Gear to an extent, but as a Metal Gear fan, which I know you are, how do you feel that it matches up with Platinum sort of mechanics? Because that was one of the things I thought when I was reviewing it, that I felt it was a little bit, they weren't very comfortable with each other. There was kind of like a, it was a bit of a compromise in some parts where it was like compromise two different styles. What did you think about that?
Yeah, I can understand where you're coming from. I don't know. I mean, with the whole Raiden thing, anyway. I mean, a lot of the crazy cutscenes from like Metal Gear 4 and things, as we know, with him, flying all through the air and doing all this crazy shit, is it kind of fits in fine.
Yeah.
But as you say, you can tell that the two studios have done different bits of the game just by the sheer length of the cutscenes and all these codec conversations and things, which are clearly Kojima's work. Yeah. And then obviously you've got this frenetic combat as well, which is obviously what Platinum do best. And I mean, obviously it doesn't feel in any way, shape or form like a Metal Gear game from a gameplay point of view whatsoever. But I don't know. I mean, I still feel like it's a part of that whole world and that canon, and I'm quite glad to see them try something different. I think it's nice to be brave occasionally.
Yeah. What do you reckon? Do you think that's something that they should do more of, more spin-offs, or even the actual canon Metal Gear games, just introduce a little bit more than the stealth? Because one of my problems with the Metal Gear games, apart from some of the cutscenes, is that I don't think the stealth is that great in it. I think it's a bit clunky sometimes as well.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe what do you think? Maybe Metal Gear Ground Zero has a little bit, changed it up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's looking really promising. And, I think obviously the first Metal Gear, Metal Gear Solid came out a long time ago now. And that whole kind of mechanic does feel a bit dated. I mean, obviously it was a bit better in Metal Gear 3, which is absolutely amazing. But even with that, obviously the controls are absolutely batshit crazy. So I don't know. I think it is time that they moved on and did something else. As I said, I've not really played much Metal Gear 4. I'm more of an Xbox man only because I don't own a PlayStation 3, not because I don't like it. But yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see them try some different things, certainly. I mean, I think the stealth, like you say, is a bit clunky. Obviously, it's supposed to be a stealth game, so that can be a problem sometimes. But for me, I understand exactly why people love stealth games, but I am the most impatient man on the planet, and I would much rather jump 50 foot in the air and then land on someone's head with a massive sword. So this game's right up my alley.
Yeah, well, it's definitely something to watch anyway. I mean, some of the things, the cutscenes in there, like say, and even when you're playing the game, it's unbelievable at some points. And like, for a Platinum game, it's kind of tame as well, in terms of when you compare it to like the things they do in Bayonetta, but it's still, it's pretty exhilarating to play. The cut mechanic is something else, isn't it?
Dead air. Matt's died. What the hell?
Hello?
I think he's dead. That's it. He's dead.
All right. You can join back in when it picks up again. So you can cut that bit anyway, and you can cut this bit. But Bill, what have you been playing lately then?
I haven't been playing Revengeance. I haven't had a chance to play it yet. I am interested though. There was that demo that they showed at, I think it was a couple of years ago at E3, where they had Raiden slicing up guys and stuff, and slicing off individual limbs. I'm just wondering, can you like slice off testicles and stuff?
No, it's kind of. I don't know why you want to do that anyway.
No bollock slicing. No.
Yeah, but it's saying that it's not anywhere near as much as it was in the original preview, but that was because it broke the game. There was no game there. That was the problem with it when it was back at Konami. They basically, you could just cut everything, the whole level. Yeah. You just cut the whole. So it was just
balls go flying through the air.
Yeah, so they've brought it back in a little bit, but it's still a lot of fun.
So did you guys play Afro Samurai?
It's quite Yes, I did.
Yeah. So do you remember in that you could like slice off butt cheeks and stuff?
Yeah, I enjoyed that game actually. I thought it was really good.
Yeah. So I just wanted something like that. I just it looks cool though. Like I saw some video of him fighting some mech, and he's like slicing off the legs and flying through the air and stuff, and that looks so good. But I just don't know. It's like Metal Gear Solid to me is more of it's a stealth game. It's not an action game. But yeah, I'm sure I'll still like it. I like that world and everything and the art design. So yeah. But anyway, I've been playing GTA 4. I bought it the other day for PC. I've already played it on Xbox a couple times. Played the DLC, all that. But I just wanted to test it out because I really like the multiplayer, and I heard that on PC you can have up to 32 players instead of 16 on Xbox. So yeah, I've just been playing that. That's just really fun. Just running down grandmas and stuff and reversing over them and getting some guy you don't know, some French guy in the side seat, and he's like swearing and shooting people. So yeah, it's just fun. But I've mainly been focusing on the blog, doing art for the blog and stuff, so I haven't really had a chance to play too many games lately, but yeah.
I'll tell you what, I've noticed when you play online, French people fucking swear so much.
I know, they're psychos, dude. They go crazy.
Don't they, like, they just go on one.
Just like the fist going through the screen, like take a big dump on the computer and stuff. They're crazy.
Man, like, I play quite a lot of FIFA and PES back in the day online. I'll tell you what, like, you know they come on because they always pick PSG or the Italian ones, or pick like AC Milan or Inter Milan, and they come on and like you'd score against them and they'd be like, oh yeah, no, like they'd be swearing in their own language. You know, they'd be like, oh, they're fucking having a go at you here now, like.
Sorry
and then
for French.
you know, you score against them, and then they'd like start they just swear at you, and then they'd score, and they'd be like do down your camera, down your mic, and they're just such bad winners and losers. It's
Such
unbelievable.
Were you about to say that
people.
French people are bad people?
Yeah.
No.
That's what it sounded like.
I should just out as well. Obviously, a multi-country cultural podcast.
Great start to the podcast.
So
French people are bad. Stay away from them.
We support all countries and languages. But yeah, that's
Except
my
French.
experience with playing with people from Europe anyway. But so you've both been playing Aliens Colonial Marines as well?
Oh gosh.
Yep.
Oh.
Right, so.
Oh.
Yeah,
God.
I've stayed away from that. We will talk about it later on, but not so much the game. We'll talk about the fallout from the game, I guess. But it's safe to say I've not played it. I probably should look at it, but I have no time for steaming piles of shits in my life. So,
Yeah,
You don't need to look at it. Don't worry.
Yeah,
don't look at
don't
it.
do it. Just look at the
forget it
screenshots.
exists.
Look at the screenshots. Oh, it's it's
So
horrible.
you both played it. Phil, you played the PC version, right?
Yep.
And Matt, you played it on Xbox. So you reviewed it for
I
us.
feel sorry for you, Matt.
Christ, yes.
I'm so sorry, Matt.
Is it the car crash that everyone is making out it is?
Absolutely. I mean, I can't obviously speak for the PC version, but it's horrendous. I couldn't believe it when I put it in, booted it up. Like I said in my review, and I've been bitching about it on Facebook as well, the screen tear on the title screen, for fuck's sake. What's that all about? This game's been almost 7 years in development and they can't sort the title screen out. I think that tells you what you need to know, really. And then I got into the game, and oh my goodness, I'm not going to go on too much about the state of the graphics because everyone knows they're shit by now. It looks last gen. It really does. I know people like to throw that term around, but it really does. It's absolutely horrendous. The acting is terrible in it. The character likenesses, the models just have square heads and no lip syncing or anything. It's just, oh my goodness. And then if you've read my review, you'll see that the AI is not exactly the best in the world either. I forget the bit in Alien where Sigourney Weaver's running around in her pants and then comes around a corner and the alien's just sat in the middle of the floor and they've taken a shit or something or fondling his chitinous penis. I don't really know what he's doing. But yeah, that's the first alien encounter in the game. He was just sat there for me. It might not be the same for everyone, I don't know. But yeah, just twiddling his little thumbs there, just sat there. So I just put a round in him and he just killed over and died. And after that, some humans show up, and then you fight some humans. And that's not really a part of the franchise either, so just absolute bollocks.
Sorry, Matt, what is all that about? I've heard this a few, I saw it in your review. Fighting humans in an aliens game. What is all that about?
Well, basically, I don't think it's much of a spoiler to say, but obviously, if anyone's listening and they're sick enough to actually want to play
It's the
this
first
game,
mission
then
anyway.
spoiler alert. But it happens in the first like half hour, 40 minutes. But they're basically mercenaries that have been stowed away on the ship. I forget its name now. They all sound the same, the names of them. And I think they're a PMC hired by Weyland-Yutani or something like that. But yeah, it's just the aliens just disappear after a few minutes, and then you just fight humans for absolutely ages before you get to fighting any aliens again. But to be honest, when you have to say that fighting the humans is more fun, then you know there's something wrong in an aliens game.
Yeah, I mean, to me, as someone who's not played it, hearing that they just get rid of aliens after the first 40 minutes and just focus on humans for it, it shows that there was no confidence in the franchise from Gearbox or the other people that made the game, allegedly.
Yeah, I've never even heard of the other companies at all. They all come up on the title screen and I'm like, the fuck are you? I've got no idea.
Yeah. That's the way it goes. So, I guess I've been playing. A couple. Actually, I've been playing nothing. I've been working and been running this website for the last 2 weeks. I've been been busy doing that. But I've been trying to sneak in a little bit of Dead Space 3. Been playing it co-op with one of my mates, Doug McCormack, who has written a couple of articles for the site. So we've been playing that on co-op, and it's I pretty much agree with your review, what you did for us, Matt. I would probably have given it a lower score, to be honest, if it was me, but I can see why you gave it a good score. But I think because I'm playing it co-op and I've not played it single player at all, it completely dilutes the game.
Yeah.
It's just like, apparently the single player, when you play it single player, isn't as like terrifying as the first two, but there are still moments. When you're playing it co-op, there's just you're just talking about shit most of the time.
Yeah.
And
I can't stand that. I like listening to the story. I couldn't be chatting to a mate while I was playing a game like Dead Space at all.
And it works well as a shooter. It looks really good. I mean, there's bits in it when you're flying through space and you're wondering how they're doing this on an 8-year-old console. But as a Dead Space game, it's as far away from Dead Space 1 as you can get, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, in hindsight, I may have lowered my score. Thinking about it now, I've had a chance to have a couple of weeks to kind of let it all sink in. Just little niggling things. I mean, the story's ridiculous in it, absolutely ridiculous. I mean, as I said, I know a lot of people do like the whole kind of canon of Dead Space, but I don't know, it got very hokey, and there's a very theatrical, melodramatic bad guy that looks like Elton John in it, which kind of,
I posted that
takes
video.
away some of the terror. And but I mean, in terms of giving it quite a high score, again, I still think in terms of third-person shooters and the atmosphere of the game and just the sound design and everything, I still don't think anyone does it better, really.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the mechanics are so solid. I know they've had 3 games now to get it right, but the shooting is just absolutely on point. The limb dismemberment's still fun. So I just think, compared to a lot of these generic third-person shooters that are out there, I think you can still, there's a lot of good to be said about it.
The presentation is second to none. I mean, I think actually I played the first section, the most action-orientated bit of the game. I actually played single player. So the first 20 minutes or so. And that prologue, when it comes on, and it's like sweeping vistas and on the ice planet, and like the score is on and all that sort of stuff. And it feels like an epic. It feels epic. I mean, they do a really good job of selling that. It's a good game. It is a good game. I'm enjoying it. I kind of do wish that I played it single player first. So if you guys who are listening haven't played it yet, and are planning on playing it, play it single player before you play it co-op. It would be my advice. The other game I've been playing a little bit on and off is Ron Gilbert's The Cave.
Oh, wow.
Which I started playing a couple of days ago. It's very good. I like it. I might review it, actually. I think I'm taking notes on it as I'm going through it.
Yeah, that'd be good.
It's it's difficult to explain. It's kind of like a point and click, but obviously you have complete control of the characters. And it's like a puzzle solver
like
and
Limbo.
a platformer at the same time.
Would you say it's like Limbo?
No, I wouldn't know. It's no. It's,
Shut up, Bill.
No, the word no.
It is in a way. The presentation is similar, although obviously the cave is a lot more colourful. It's supposed to be colourful. It's got puzzles in it like Limbo. The platforming in Limbo is a lot more exact than the Caves. The Caves is very loose platforming. It's not what it's about. It just happens to be a 2D platformer. But the thing is with the Cave is that you can control 3 different characters at once on your D-pad. So you have your D-pad and you press the to go left and you control one. You'll set one of those characters to the left D-pad, one to the up D-pad, and one to the right. And you will then you select one of them, control them, go and do something. Go stand on a switch which opens the door, and you press the up button to control someone else while that character stays where they are. And then you go further on through the level and do something else. So it's like each puzzle has 3 steps to it, and you've got to figure out, which one has to do what and where you've got to do with all your starter ones. So, and obviously it's very funny. Like it comes from the guy who, and Tim Schafer as well. Actually, Double Fine Studios. They both were behind Monkey Island games. It's very funny. It's got a narrator in it, like what's that game? The one that everyone went mad for. That has the Bastion, yeah, which is also which I loved actually. I can't believe I forgot the name, but it's got a narrator like him, but obviously with a much more comedic streak in it as well. It's good. I've enjoyed it so far. I mean, I'm only probably about an hour into it, so I wouldn't give it like anything like a score at the moment, but I'm enjoying it so far. It's very good. I'm looking forward to playing a little bit more of it actually, and then obviously I reviewed Revengeance as well. Which obviously if you have a look on the website, you'll see the review on there. We'll talk about it just then. So I think what we should do now is we move on to the big news of the week. So obviously the first place to start really would be, we can't really talk about this without talking about the PlayStation 4 really. We all knew it was happening. We all knew it was going to be revealed at some point. We know from the last 3 weeks that it was going to be on the 20th of February. I just before we go into it, how funny would it have been if it was just something like, the PS Vita is getting a price drop? Sorry.
yeah. PlayStation Home is finally coming out of beta phase.
Yeah. I actually think they should have done that and then sort of turned the lights back up and then got on with it. And then just seeing the reaction, like the internet would have probably fucking exploded or something. But anyway, so that was announced. It's exciting. It is exciting. This generation's gone on way too long. I mean, some great games about to come out still, and there's some great games just coming out. But it's been a long time. Like it's nearly a decade long. This generation. There's some people now that are just starting high school and college that probably got the Xbox 360 and PS3 when they first came out, and it's just about time, really. What we'll talk about is the impressions from the show itself, and my overriding view of it was that I think they did a good job in a lot of ways. I think they really sold what the console can do really well. I like how it is made for developers by developers. I feel that some bits of it were rushed because I think they just really wanted to beat Microsoft to the punch and get out first. And I think the actual whoever came up with the run of the show, meaning like the scheduling of it, was off the fucking rocker because so uneven. No, I mean it started off. You had Cerny fella looking like he just woke up, bewildered at where he was, talking about the console, and then you had someone else talk about something. Then they showed a video of other developers talking about what they've just been talking about on stage, and then they led with the first game, which was an action adventure game aimed at children called Knack, which
that was horrible.
Makes me laugh.
That was so bad.
Rubbish name.
Wank.
It's a rubbish
Should
name.
be called Wank.
It looked nice. Obviously, it looked amazing. I'm just saying, look nice does it a huge disservice, but it's not your first game you're going to show. Like, is it really? Oh, so they showed this game, and then they started going on about PS Vita for a little while, and then they get into the bones and the meat of what we actually wanted to see. It showed you Killzone, which looked stunning. I'm not a huge fan of Killzone, but it looked amazing. Drive Club, again, looked nice. Showed a few games. And then they go into the tech demos, which is fine. You want to see some tech demos. You get David Cage coming up, going on about how you're going to get all these polygons into these people's faces, and it has Jimmy Savile's floating head. Wow.
From beyond the grave.
Welcome to the next generation.
He's going on saying, we have so many polygons, we'll make you feel emotions that you can never feel in real life, which is just mental. How can anyone say?
What would they be? Yeah.
What does that even mean? And then so you have him going on about polygons and stuff, and then they bring on Media Molecule, who are like, polygons are shit. Let's get rid of polygons. And they're like, really? You're just a guy talking here telling me it's going to make me feel emotions that I can't feel in real life. And they showed something that was really cool. I don't know what it was that they were showing me, but
Cock sculpting.
Cock sculpting, which is obviously what it's going to be. But I don't know if it was a game, is it an app, was it just a tech? Who knows what it was? But it was cool anyway. And then they brought on the third parties at the end, which obviously Watch Dogs was stunning, and it looked stunning, and it was amazing. And I really can't wait for that game. It's really piqued my interest. And then obviously Capcom had Deep Down, which was blatantly Dragon's Dogma 2. I don't know why they just don't call it Dragon's Dogma 2, because they've got the DLC coming out probably soon. And then they had Square come up, who were just like, "Hi, here's a tech demo that you saw seen last year. We're going to have some games coming out on this console. We'll announce them later on. Cheers, guys. Bye." And that was just a complete waste of time. The biggest things that came from it in games perspectives for me was Destiny's reveal on there. Well, not reveal, but
with the stiff arms, the stiff group. Everyone's like, yeah, it's like they're toy soldiers or something. They just can't move. That was so strange.
They were very still. I don't know why they are to go on there. It's like, when they have like an Oscar ceremony and someone wins an award and they bring up like the whole cast and they're all just stood in the background watching on.
It's very clear if you look at them. They don't know what to do with their hands. They're really uncomfortable up there, just stood there. I thought they were all going to get a turn saying something, but then they just all walked off the stage again.
It was like they were saying, well, we really are going to be bringing out stuff out. Look, they're all here. They're all kind of.
We are a team on this.
And did you see the size of that guy's suit, by the way?
Sorry, bud.
That guy at the front that was talking, his suit was like the biggest suit in history, and he was like the smallest man.
Oh,
There was just like hair sticking out the top. But
like the thing with Destiny was, like I said in the State of Play article today, it was a big fuck you to Microsoft, I think, because obviously it's still coming out on the Xbox, but to have exclusive levels and DLC and what have you on the Sony console from Bungie, who were like, made the Xbox, and let's face it, they did with Halo. That was a big steal, and the Blizzard thing as well. That could be huge potentially. Is it just going to be Diablo 3? Is there going to be more? Is it going to be World of Warcraft?
Well, I thought they were going to announce WoW, and then they didn't, and I was like, "Oh, great, it's a game no one gives a shit about. Brilliant, fantastic."
Yeah, it's a weird one. One of my friends was really, really excited about it, and I was like, "Well, you've played this last year on PC and hated it."
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, "Oh yeah," but Blizzard, like it's
it's a big coup, isn't it?
It is a big coup, yeah. It is, and because it's the worst kept secret in gaming, I think, that Diablo 3 was coming out for consoles because people had seen it on, running on an Xbox, and I think everyone knew it was going to be coming out at some point. But just to get it out exclusively for PlayStation 4 is a big deal.
Silence again. So that's it. That's the news story, is it?
You two guys.
Freaking hell. That was the longest story ever. You're like an old man or something. Just goes on and on and on. It's been going for about 15 minutes or something. You don't even need to watch the thing anymore. You don't even have to go see the PlayStation thing if you haven't. It's just yeah, there you go.
Well, I was just getting my 2 cents out there because
2 cents,
actually, Bill,
50 cents.
Yeah, 15 cents or something. But Bill, obviously, we'll go to you for your reactions first on this, because obviously you're mostly a PC gamer these days.
Yeah,
so
yep.
you're not really. I think you're interested in it anyway. But from a PC gamer's perspective, what did you make of it?
I thought it was. Well, firstly, I should say I missed the first 15 minutes, which is basically where all the good stuff happened. I joined when they were talking about Nax, actually, and I was like, what the hell is this?
Never a good place to join in.
Yeah, it looks like a Nintendo 64 game or something. And yeah, I just thought it was sort of there was too much talking and not enough showing, really. They just sort of just went on and on and on. But there was a couple points which I did like. The Witness by Jonathan Blow, that was really cool.
I forgot about him there. That was just bizarre when he turned up in between a bunch of explosions.
Yeah, because a lot of people haven't actually heard of that before. They thought it was like an announcement, but he's actually been making that for a while now. I've just been always looking on, because he has a blog that he runs. I've always been looking on there, waiting for more news and stuff. So it's just cool to see more footage. And that looks all nice, very colourful. Sort of reminds me of Myst, except you can actually like control it. You walk around instead of just floating through the air or whatever.
You can spell crosswords on it as well.
Yeah, and the other game, which obviously is very cool, is Watch Dogs. That's just like that came on. I just instantly crapped my pants. Just like hair blowing back, just shit flying everywhere. That was
what you are. Oh, Watch Dogs. Was that the character in Watch Dogs, or was that you when you were watching?
No, that was me. That was me.
That's Watch Dogs DLC.
Yeah. So that looks cool. It's like it just looks like GTA to me, but it's got like an Assassin's Creed twist to it, sort of. And that's, I guess, the big thing about it. Sort of people are talking about, is that a new Assassin's Creed, sort of dressed up as sort of like a futuristic game or what? Yeah, but apart from that, I didn't really think it was that great. The Diablo thing was interesting because obviously that's always been a PC game. And the main thing he was talking about is, taking those controls on PC and putting onto a, this little 360 pad and a PS4 controller. And yeah, I'm just interested to see how that's going to work because obviously there's a lot in those games. There's a lot of buttons to use, but yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it's apart from that, yeah, it's just I thought it was pretty garbage, and that Destiny thing was just so stupid, such a waste of time. They could have made that so big that announcement, but it was just horrible. Like if that was Microsoft at E3, they would have made that really big. There would have been like fireworks going off and probably these lights flashing, the ground shaking and stuff, and then they come out and
theme song by Usher as well. Don't forget.
There's two things about that, Bill. Why I think it was so low key. I think firstly, I do really think that Sony did rush that. I don't think they planned to reveal it as early as they did. I just think they knew. Obviously, now it's come out that it seems like the Xbox event is going to be the start of April. It seems that Sony knew that from some of the comments coming out, and I think they just pulled that forward a little bit. I think the second thing as well is that Sony haven't really got that much money, and they need this to succeed. Whereas Microsoft have got
the
more
little
money
hobos in the gutter.
Yeah, and so Microsoft have got tons of money, and they will throw. You can. I mean, you remember when you probably don't actually because you're only young, but when the 360 was announced.
He's only 5, bless him.
Or something.
Wearing my nappy.
They had Wood, who was a big deal at the time, and they had the Killers, who were also a big deal at the time. And then MTV had half an hour where they just showed the whole console off. That's the sort of thing. That's the sort of money that Microsoft have got, and which they don't. There's a little interesting about Watch Dogs as well. It came out the other day that footage that was being shown at the PlayStation event was actually running on a PC.
Yeah, I could tell. It's got too much anti-aliasing. We all know our consoles have like
not the
zero anti-aliasing on everything and no VSync. So, yeah, I don't know. It just looked...
I was wondering how long it was going to take before you started talking about the anti-aliasing.
I can't help
You've
myself.
done quite well, actually. It's been at least half an hour.
Yeah, it has.
Well, Matt, what did you think of the event anyway? Because you're writing up your impressions on it now, aren't you?
Yeah.
So what did you make of it? Give us a sneak peek of what you're writing.
Well, basically, I wasn't sure when I first came into it. I mean, I actually missed the first hour because I was out doing my usual thing of being a singing troubadour, and so I got in quite late. Caught the second hour and then watched the first hour immediately after that. So kind of watched it in a bit of a weird order. At the time, I wasn't very overwhelmed.
Live.
Sorry, carry on.
Sorry, you were watching Low Fat Gaming's live tweets, though, weren't you?
Yes, I was indeed. Yeah, but anyway, getting back to it. Yeah, to begin with, I thought I was excited. It's about time, but nothing grabbed my attention too much. I thought Killzone looked absolutely amazing, as we've already established. I mean, those are the kind of graphics I've been waiting for a long time now. Again, Knack, I didn't have a clue what that was all about. I thought it looked really good, though. I thought it looks like a Pixar film, but something you can play. Kind of looks like Lilo and Stitch, actually, from Disney, if you think about it, the little character and stuff. And I don't mind playing the old kids games, but like you said, it's a bit of a weird one to come out with as a first game. I've never played Killzone, so I haven't really got any comment on the games and whether or not it would be something I was into. I mean, I guess these days you've got to have an FPS, haven't you, as a kind of showpiece. Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs worries me, actually. I think it looks absolutely amazing, but then I thought Assassin's Creed looked absolutely amazing as well. And while I've played all the Assassin's games and got enjoyment out of all of them to varying degrees, there's often been a lot of style over substance. And when you see gameplay demos of those games, they look absolutely fantastic. There's not always much meat on the bones when you get into playing the actual game, and I'm just hoping that Watch Dogs is as intricate as it looks, because I'm not really sure at this point. I thought The Witness looked good. As I've said earlier, I'm an extremely impatient man. I don't have a lot of time for puzzle games. If I still had hair, I'd be tearing it out. But just by looking at that gameplay, it absolutely boggles my mind. So I'll probably leave that one to you guys when that comes out. But I'm glad to see the indie developers getting a mention on there. I thought that was really important. And like we've said, I don't think enough of it's been made, really, that you can self-publish on PS4. You can charge, I think I read, you can charge anywhere between free up to about $30, I think it was, for an indie game, which is massive news, really. And, I think it's something people need to get excited about, really.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that there's been zero press about that, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's like, he just kind of just slipped it in there, though. He just kind of just said it and then just moved on very quickly. So I don't know if he was allowed to say it or not.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. I don't know. Maybe they shouldn't have said as much as they did. Yeah. The thing I actually got most excited about was the controller, and I know that sounds weird, but I fucking hate the DualShock. I've always hated the DualShock from day one. Never got on with PlayStation controllers at all. I think they're great consoles, but the controllers for me has always been the barrier as to why I've preferred Xbox. Looking at that controller, they've got the analog sticks have changed now. They're still in the wrong place, by the way, it's worth saying, but they've changed now. They look a lot more kind of resistant, and the triggers as well, which to me, there's no resistance to them on PlayStation ever, and I find it very disconcerting. I played Hitman at Eurogamer Expo last year on PlayStation 3 build, and I just couldn't get on with it at all. I mean, again, it's maybe not so much of a problem if you do own both consoles and have done for a long time, but for someone that only dabbles in PS3, it's just been a complete barrier to entry. Things like FPSs, I like the feel of pulling a trigger and having a gun firing and feel like pulling a trigger, not feel like pulling a bit of styrofoam or something. So I think it looks a lot more solid. I think they've definitely taken some cues from Microsoft over that controller.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that with when the PlayStation 3 was announced, my overriding sense for Sony was they were being laser, because the pad was exactly the same for a start, obviously without the rumble at the time and all that sort of stuff. And I think they were kind of coasting. That's the PlayStation 1 and 2. And, they really should have done something with the pad, I think, when it was PlayStation 3. They should have...
Still there?
Yeah. They should have looked at it and changed it around a bit. And, 360 pad just kind of blew it out of the water. But I think looking at what they're doing now is that it seems like they're a lot more confident and they're taking a bit more risks, and they're wanting to sort of really kind of right the wrongs that they did with the launch of the PlayStation 3. They're being a lot more proactive and go and challenging Microsoft. And you wonder if Microsoft are going to be the kind of ones that are resting on the laurels or not this time around. It'd be interesting to see.
What do you think of the touchpad on it? Do you think they're going to be able to have some interesting applications for that, or do you think it's just a gimmick?
I don't know, to be honest. I think they were wise not to really talk about that sort of stuff at the event. I think it was wise just to mention it, because it's difficult. I mean, you've got a Connect, haven't you? I've got a Connect, and it's...
I did have a Connect. Speaks volumes that I don't anymore.
Mine's in my cupboard, covered in dust and stuff. I don't use it. Horrible.
It's difficult to incorporate that sort of stuff into gaming. Just going back onto Watch Dogs again briefly. Obviously, it was the one that everyone's talking about, and a lot of people, Bill touched on it before. The Andy Hartup, who's the old editor of Xbox World, he had a theory that it was an Assassin's Creed game. It was like the Trojan horse for the new, because obviously when it was announced originally, Assassin's Creed 3 hadn't come out. And obviously now it looks like it is its own game, but I think that it was an Assassin's Creed game originally, and I just think because of the amount of hype that they got from it when it they unveiled it at E3 last year and it blew everyone away, I think they just basically just gone, okay, we'll just go ahead with it and just call it Watch Dogs, because there's so many similarities between the two of them, isn't there? Is it just me that thinks that? You look at it and you think this could be an Assassin's Creed game in the future.
Yeah, the camera and the way the character controls, there's kind of some almost free-running elements in there, and that chase in the latest gameplay walkthrough. I think there's definite parallels there. I mean, we know Ubisoft like to share their tech around anyway. I'm not entirely sure. Do we know which team are working on Watch Dogs?
It is. It's Ubisoft Montreal, isn't it? It is the main studio.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
I don't know. I mean, there are uncanny similarities, but that may just be because it's from the same company using the same engine. Who knows?
Yeah, but I mean, even still, like, I mean, there's bits where they're walking around. You know, like in Assassin's Creed 3, where those little like white dots of people on the lines.
Yeah.
Oh, that's in it as well. I wouldn't have been surprised if it was like when if it came out as being like called Assassin's Creed Watch Dogs or something like that. You know, because it seems like a lot of the games that have been announced, the sequels they haven't got any numbers next to them because they're trying to, like, it's a new generation. They don't want to call it Killzone 4. They want to call it some Killzone whatever. That's all.
Yeah.
But I just think now, like, it's gone too far a little bit now. I think it's become too big to sort of relaunch it as an Assassin's Creed game. I also really like the fact that the guy who was talked about on stage had a matching T-shirt to his phone cover.
yeah, that guy was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, he was a legend.
Very theatrical. He's obviously very into his game that he's selling.
He was, yeah. That was good to see, though, and that was a really good thing. And we'll kind of wrap this up on PlayStation 4 now, but that was, I think, the overriding thing that I took away from it was, and again, Bill, you might be a bit too young to remember this, but when the first Xbox was announced. Yeah, sorry, Bill. When the first Xbox was announced, so back in 2000 actually, wasn't it? It was a bunch of old businessmen not old, but middle-aged businessmen that announced it. And when the 360 was announced, it was all kind of, at the time, you know, younger fellas who were kind of like into skateboarding or into indie music and all this sort of stuff. And they wore trendy glasses and all this sort of thing. And then as the 360s progressed, they've gone more back to how they were in 2000, where it's been like Don Matrick coming in his business suit talking about sales figures and marketing and all this sort of stuff. And whereas Sony came on the stage on Wednesday, and it was all younger fellas in jeans and check shirts, and it was actually developers talking about it, and I think that was refreshing. It's something that Microsoft really needs to do when they do theirs, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Just one last thing, actually. Did anyone else think it was really, really lame that the guy from Square Enix comes back and goes, "Oh yes, one more thing. We're going to be releasing a Final Fantasy game for PS4."
Yeah.
Is that really news these days? I mean, are you expecting like Infinity Ward to come on and say, "We're making Call of Duty this year"? You know,
what is this now?
Is it really that surprising?
Final Fantasy 15.
EA here. We have a new FIFA game coming out this year. Oh, really?
Yeah, it's called FIFA 14.
Get the fuck out of here. I think the more interesting thing what Square Enix said was when the guy started rambling a little bit because he couldn't really speak English and said, "I am not the brother to your sisters," or something like that. What was all that about?
I think
Must be a cultural thing.
We should quickly talk about Killzone, because a lot of people have been saying that was, it looks amazing, but I'm not so sure about it. It seems like it looks really good. I think you can't say it doesn't look good. The graphics are amazing, but I think if you took those graphics away and you really look at the game underneath, it's still just another generic shooter. Like I remember when Call of Duty 4 came
definitely.
out. When Call of Duty 4 came out, it had that thing where you could shoot through walls and stuff, like thin surfaces. And that sort of changed the way I played games back then. Like I would go hide in a cargo thing and I get like shot through the wall and stuff. So you sort of always you never feel safe. And that was just like really innovative. But like I just want sort of new ideas and stuff, and it doesn't look like that in Killzone. It just looks like more of the same once again. I haven't played the other Killzones, but I hear they're not that good. But what did you guys think of it anyway? Because
You're exactly right, and I touched on it on the State of Play article today. it was just a first-person shooter, and it was nothing we hadn't seen before. Admittedly, an absolutely stunning-looking first-person
Yeah,
shooter,
yep.
but it wasn't. And I think that's the part of the show where Sony fumbled. It was the games that they showed. They showed a generic first-person shooter. They showed a racing game that
Put on a seatbelt.
just looked like. Yeah, that looked like Forza, and it didn't even get that from first person's perspective. I get that. I get they're trying to get that sense of speed, but it didn't show that sense of speed. And then that infamous free
That was
trailer
horrible.
was just absolute garbage.
I thought
Like,
it was Watch
just
Dogs
an
at first,
explosion.
actually. I thought it was Watch Dogs, and I was like, oh no, what have they done to it? And then it popped up, Infamous or whatever, and I was like, oh, thank God.
The bit about that was the guy at the start who started going about how the police are shit.
Oh, he was a psychopath. He was like, I think a hitman or something. He was like, I hate the police. Whatever. And it's all dark and stuff. Yeah, he creeped me out a little bit. Yeah.
He was. He was like, police were supposed to keep us safe. But 7 years ago, when I got tear gassed, I'm like, Jesus Christ, man, just talk about your game, like.
I know.
But then he started going. There's cameras everywhere. There's cameras.
Bloodshot
Imagine
eyes.
in this world you have superpowers, and you're like, what? What are you going on about, man? And then obviously, so that was that. So it's a bit weird. I do agree with you, Bill. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I think with Microsoft reveal, I would obviously you want to see. Obviously, people want to see a Halo 5. You want to see,
Yep.
a new Fable, whatever. But I just want to see something that's going to really sort of take advantage of all the new technologies and be a truly next generation game. That's what I want to see. Like Watch Dogs looks like it well could be, but that's what I'm still waiting to see. So just before we'll wrap up this PlayStation 4 bit now,
Yeah,
but just before we do, Matt, did you see enough to want you to go out and buy a PS4 day one?
Yeah, I think so. I wasn't sure to begin with, but as I said on the Facebook page, the more I've thought about it, letting it sink in, yeah, I think so. One thing I'm not so sure about, but I'm thinking about doing as well, is do I need to now get a Vita? And is now the time, or do I wait till PS4 comes out? Seeing as there's going to be all this interactivity between them. So I'm just looking for excuses to buy new consoles, so maybe that'll be my next purchase. But yeah, definitely day one for me. As we've said on Facebook as well, some places are starting to have pre-order options now, and you can even pay for them. On one of them, I think about £400 just under. So that's a brave move. Either they know something we don't, or they're just estimating and they may change the price as it goes along. But I think it's interesting to see that happening.
Yeah, I pre-ordered mine already. I went and pre-ordered it at my local game store, which is, living in Ireland, is the only game store.
In the entirety of Ireland.
They're all closing down all the time, but I hope this one doesn't close down. But yeah, I went and pre-ordered it. I'm really excited. I think it's mostly because I'm so excited for a new generation. And
Yeah, definitely.
And I think I will be getting an Xbox as well. I definitely will, because I've had an Xbox for 10 years now, and I've had the same Xbox Live profile for 10 years, so I've got 10 years worth of friends on there, 10 years worth of game saves, 10 years worth of DLC.
Memories.
Memories, and 10 years worth of DLC and downloadable only games, which the PlayStation 4 will not be carrying over from PSN, which I think is a big slap in the face, actually.
Yeah, but then we've got the whole Gaikai kind of buyout as well, which we didn't touch upon, and I'm sure we can probably talk about that next time in a bit more detail. But I think we should have the option to play some old games with any luck at some point.
That's the thing though with the DLC. And I'm sorry that we're digressing a little bit here, but with the digital only, I downloaded Cave the other day. I've just been playing that. It's digital, so that should just carry across to a new console.
Yeah.
PSN exists across a whole variety of things already. So, and I know the PS4 is going to have a new sort of chip, and Bill, you probably know a bit more about this, being a bit more technical than I am. But it shouldn't be that difficult to run a digital only game over to a PlayStation 4. It's a bit, and I don't understand why. And obviously they have to announce it, but they basically just told people just don't bother buying anything off PSN for the rest of the year. Why would you buy anything?
I thought it was
because you're not going to be able to use it.
Why would you guys go out and pre-order the PlayStation? Because I think it's like just looking at like what's been happening the last year or so. There was the Xbox Slim. There was a new PlayStation PS3 released that had a bigger hard drive. It was smaller. Wouldn't you just I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait a couple years just keep playing on PC, maybe upgrade my PC a little bit. Yeah, so...
we can't all be rich Australians like you, though, Bill. We can't all have massive rigs. That's the thing.
I'm not, though. I'm not. I'm just saying, like, it seems like a bit of a waste of money. Like, you go out and pay... Well, for me, it's like 900 or something. And then, like, a couple of years later, you get the next one. Because the old one's stuffed up.
I don't know about that. Like, I mean, I've had 2 Xboxes in 8 years. I got the first one on launch day. I think I was living in England then, so I think I paid about 320 quid for it or something like that. It's something like that. £300, I think it was. And I had that one for 5 years, and then I traded it in and got one of the slim black ones with the bigger hard drive when that came up. And I've had the same one since then. And I think I paid an extra £100 for it. So basically I paid £400 in 8 years.
Yeah, it's not a lot, is it, really, when you think about it? And this generation is probably going to be even longer again. So, we'll get our money's worth, I think.
Yeah, that's what I think. So that's the PS4 anyway. Let us know what you think about it on the Facebook page and on Twitter. We'll tell you the addresses for those later on. But what we'll talk about briefly now is Destiny. So obviously, this is another thing that we've all known has been coming for a long time. Bill, you might be a bit left out on this one because it doesn't seem like there's going to be a PC version of it at the moment.
Oh, I did play lots of Halo though, so.
Yeah, you're a big Halo fan, yeah. So that's cool. So this is. I wrote in length about Destiny. I'm really excited about it. It's this could well be the next gen experience that we're all going to talk about. Something that is going to be literally a world inside your console of choice that you can dip in, dip out of with your friends, without your friends, with people you don't know. And it's going to be, when you're not there, it's going to be constantly evolving and changing. It's a first-person shooter, but obviously, as we know from Halo, people that have played Halo and PlayStation only fans who haven't played Halo, you're in for a bit of a treat because it is a lot of fun. I love the Halo games, especially the multiplayer. And Destiny, I think, especially if people are going to be getting PS4s with all the exclusive stuff, I've got a lot to look forward to. So what I think is interesting about it is that they're still insisting that it's going to be coming out on PS3 and Xbox 360, even though it's not launching until 2014.
No anti-aliasing again.
And yeah,
Okay.
and I just can't see that happening. Like Bill, like again, you're a bit more technical minded than us. For the sort of things that they're talking about wanting to achieve with Destiny, can you see it in any way, shape, or form working on an Xbox 360 or PS3?
No, because the thing is, the world is so big, and everyone's connected, and it's online only. See, I think the bigger problem is internet connections. Because it's saying you have to be online all the time, and a lot of people still don't have great internet connections. So I'm just wondering how it's going to work with like lag and stuff. Because imagine that you get home with a new game, you sit down and play it, and the whole time you're playing it, it's basically just like 1 frame per second because it's lagging so much.
Yeah.
Seems like it would just be horrible. But if they've just got like some master server that somehow sort of fixes all the lag, that would be good. But yeah, I don't think it'll work unless they put it on lower settings, no anti-aliasing and all that. Maybe it might work, but apart from that, I would just get the next gen version. Yeah, I don't think it'll work.
I think it's going to be the current gen versions will quietly disappear. I think.
Yeah.
I know about them, but once the next Xbox is fully announced, I think they'll kind of forget about it. Is it something that you're interested in, Matt? I know you're more of a single player sort of guy.
Yeah, not at all, really. I'll be honest. I'll keep an open mind, but it's all my least favourite things rolled into one, which is Bungie, first-person shooters, and multiplayer, and being persistently online doesn't really appeal to me. I understand and respect Bungie and where they've come from and what they've done for first-person shooters on console. But for me, I don't like Halo. I think it's extremely overrated. I think the character design and the actual world and even the entire canon that they've got is just embarrassingly silly. But that's just me. I mean, this is a different game, different franchise, different generation. So I will remain open-minded, but until then, that's about all I've got to say, I think.
So your overriding thoughts at the moment are, fuck you, Bungie.
Yes. There we go, that'll do.
Done. Hate box.
There's the next hate box written now ready for you there. So,
yeah, that's it.
I think what Bill touched on a couple of interesting points, and this is something that obviously the the next PlayStation 4, sorry, as isn't at the moment, doesn't require an online connection at all times. But there's a lot of rumours that the new Xbox does, and obviously Destiny does as well. So it's an interesting one. Like, what happens? Like, obviously, even this week there was a bit of time where Xbox Live was down for maintenance. So if Xbox Live is down or PSN's down for whatever reason, I mean, remember when PSN got hacked last year and was offline for about a month? Are you just not going to be able to play any of your games?
Probably not.
Yeah, it's worrying, isn't it?
Yeah, it's stupid. I just don't like that. I hate... Like, I used to be a multiplayer guy. I used to play... Like, I bought Halo 3, and I played it, like, just every single day for 2 years, just the multiplayer. But I'm sort of over that now. I am more focused on single-player games, more focused on, like, open-world games, like Fallout and stuff, just with good stories and side quests. So, yeah, I'm not sure about it. I'm not really excited for it. Maybe a couple years ago I would have been. Plus, there was problems I had with Bungie. I got banned from Halo Reach for doing a little glitch. So
that's because get it right. That's because you call them a bunch of cunts.
A bunch of cunts with no anti-aliasing.
Yeah.
Don't tell the truth, Phil. Tell the truth.
No, it was a glitch. Because I'll probably get sued or something. Yeah, I just don't know about it. It seems like for people who love their multiplayer, they will, like Call of Duty fans and stuff, they will love it. But yeah, this internet thing does worry me quite a lot. Yeah, and plus the other problem I have with it as well. I was talking about this with my brother the other night. Is that because everyone's gonna be connected in the same world. What happens when you get in a game with like a couple dickheads? Who just keep teabagging you and sticking plasma grenades in the back of your head the whole time if you're trying to experience the story. I think that could be a big problem that they would need to fix. Get the old banhammer out and start smashing people in the face.
Yeah, it's right, because like in Borderlands 2, for example, you can switch on a mode where it lets anyone join in your game at any point. And I had it turned off pretty much the way I was playing it. And then one day I just turned it on just to see what it was like. And as soon as I turned it on, a couple of absolute douchebags joined in my game. And we're just fucking around, and it's like, wow, that's not fun at all. Like, you want to, if it's someone you know, that's fine.
Yeah,
There's a lot of challenges to it, I think. But Bungie, they basically made the Xbox for Microsoft, and it's like a challenge, those boys. So we'll see what happens.
Well, they did say.
So we'll move on. That's Destiny.
They did say it's going to be bigger than Halo, though, didn't they? Like
they say it's going to be. They say it's going to be the next Star Wars because they've got.
Well, there's nothing like kind of setting your benchmark high, is there?
Yeah.
Setting yourself up for a fall.
They say it's going to be the next Star Wars. They've got the mythology all set out. Knowing Bungie, there's going to be animation. There's going to be.
It'll be good. It will be good.
Novels.
Yeah. They won't get it wrong, I don't think.
Well, that's Destiny anyway. So we'll draw a line with that. We'll probably see a bit more of that. I think we're on about looking at it more next month, aren't we, at GDC? There's something they're doing to talk about it. So we'll see a bit more of that shortly, I guess. What we'll talk about now is the aliens, colonial marines controversy. We can't really not talk about it. So this isn't so much about the actual game itself. Everyone knows that it's troubled, I think is the polite way of saying it. The other way of saying it is a piece of shit, I guess. But it's just a bizarre situation, isn't it? So basically, the gist of it is that it's been being made for 6 years on and off, with Gearbox being the people that were making it for Sega. And there's all kinds of allegations flying around online. So obviously, all this is speculation. We don't know if it's true or not. But I'm not accusing anyone of anything at this point. But the gist of it is, and speculation is online, that Bungie, Gearbox were doing it, had the contract for it. And then other games came the way, like Borderlands was successful and they moved on to Borderlands 2. So the allegations are they outsourced it to someone else who did their contract work on it and gave it back to Gearbox in a way that Gearbox weren't happy with. And Sega wouldn't, because it'd been 6 years, wouldn't change the release date and it had to come out in February. And then what came out is what came out. So, do you think this is harmed? I mean, obviously Gearbox were coming off a huge success with Borderlands 2, which was, critically and commercially successful, like no other game was last year. I mean, there was a lot of divisive games last year, and pretty much everyone loved Borderlands across the board. It's sold really well. Do you think? And before that, there was Duke Nukem, which
The less we say about that, the better, I think.
Yeah,
And
I
then they
actually
had-
liked that. I actually liked it somehow.
yeah.
I had fun with it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
The
I
first
did.
half is really good.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that Duke Nukem was kind of thrown in the bus in a lot of ways. I think by the press at large. I think there was obviously he had a troubled development, but then they had that game, and they had Borderlands 2. So you could say, oh well, it was a Duke Nukem was a fluke. It was a blip. But then along comes the Aliens Colonial Marines as well, and has this harmed Gearbox beyond repair? Do you think?
I think so. I mean, if I was a developer now, or a publisher rather, sorry, looking to farm out my IP, I wouldn't touch them with a 10-foot budge pole. I honestly wouldn't. No matter how good Borderlands is, that's their own IP. They obviously clearly look after it. They know it's a money spinner and a somewhat of a critical darling as well. But I think this is going to damage them a lot. I think they've got a lot of damage control to be done, and I think good old Randy Pitchford's going to have to turn on the charm and at least address this somehow.
Come out and say it's the best game ever.
They'll probably kind of brush over it, or maybe even just bullishly kind of ignore it and go against what everyone's saying, just like they did with Duke Nukem. But they need to say something, I think, because it's the elephant in the room at the minute, the xenomorph-shaped elephant. Or should I say the blocky, jagged, no anti-aliasing xenomorph elephant in the room. So, they need to address this. Otherwise, they're going to cause themselves irreparable damage, I think.
Yeah, because, the thing is with it as well, is that what is Gearbox? I mean, are they Borderlands 2? And they're quite good Borderlands, already Brothers in Arms, which is kind of average, and Duke Nukem and Aliens Colonial Marines, which are sub-average. What are they? Are they a AAA developer, or are they someone that just has one really good IP and they're awash with a load of average stuff?
Yeah, I would never describe them as AAA. Triple B, maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
Triple C.
Or whatever you would call it. But they're not a AAA developer. They don't, I think they've struck it lucky with Borderlands, and it is a great game. I know some people don't like it, but as we've said, they're in the minority. But it's a fantastic game. It's good fun. It's well made. The shooting's good. I really like the cell shading look. I think it's lovely. But yeah, I think thinking back, it's the only Gearbox game I've truly enjoyed. So I think they're kind of a bit of a one-hit wonder, really.
Yeah, I think I remember Xbox World and PSM used to refer to them as the masters of the 7 out of 10.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But then, out of the last 3 games, we've had 1 9 out of 10 game and 2 out of 10 games.
Yeah, exactly. They're now the masters of the 2 out of 10 IP raping.
Well, that's a bit strong.
There's that. There you go.
Yeah, I just think it'd be interesting where they go from here, because the next title that they announce and come out with start showing the press, they're not going to get away from Aliens, and it'll be interesting. So, Bill, you've been playing the PC version of it.
I haven't finished it yet.
And you've not finished it. No, you actually uninstalled it at one point and reinstalled it.
Yeah, I stuck it in my recycle
Can't stay
bin.
away from it.
Actually stuck it in the recycle bin and got rid of it and then re-downloaded it. I'm not sure where I am actually. I think I'm up to the 3rd mission, which is only probably about 2 hours in or something. But it's so far, all I've done is shoot a couple aliens and then just run through generic corridors and stuff, just shooting at just an endless supply of humans, who for some reason, you can dismember them a little bit. It's like Dead Space. But it just seems to be their arms that come off, which is really strange. There's just arms all over the place. But yeah, it's not. I don't think it's that. Well, it's not good. It's sort of the PC version's not that bad because it's got you can put on VSync and turn up the textures and all that. And there's mods out now actually, which make it look close to the original game, so that's good. But unlike the Xbox version, just looks like a disaster to me. It's just got the crazy screen tearing. So yeah, and Matt's gone, by the way. I think.
Yeah. That was the big controversy. Well, one of the big controversies of it was the fact that the demo that journalists say that they saw last year, and we all saw the videos of it online, is nothing like the finished game.
Yeah,
I
wonder if people can actually get refunds and stuff for it, because that is false advertising. It looks like I said on Facebook. It looks like a SNES game actually. It's completely horrible. The posters on the walls and stuff just look
Hey,
just 8-bit.
there's some lovely looking SNES games.
Yeah, well, yeah, Super Metroid looks nice. But yeah, I actually said, if you go back and look at the Aliens vs Predator game, which I haven't played on PC, that almost looks better than this, and that's like over 10 years old. So, yeah,
Yeah.
a
I think
disaster.
did any of you see the did you see the video online that came up of a guy who was playing it
The comparison
who
thing.
just ran through a whole level and didn't even fire one shot and finished the level.
Oh no, nah.
So yeah, we'll draw a line under aliens there anyway. Matt has just left us for a second. He should be coming back on in a little while. But what we'll do now is that's the news of the week anyway, and we'll move on to some of our questions. So we've had just at this point, I'd just like to say we've had an amazing response from you guys who are hopefully listening to this. You've given us a lot of support so far. We really appreciate it. And we need your support as well because obviously we're new. We need to get our name out there and the more likes and follows that we get on Twitter,
Yep.
the more things and more hits on the website, the more we can do, like video casts, podcasts, and other things like that. So please like us, please share us. That's really important to us. Please follow us, tell your friends about us and your family, and keep on supporting us. We really appreciate it so far. So what we're going to do now is we're going to answer a few of the reader questions. Now we've covered a few already that were asked. Nathan Mills Thomas asked us to tell us about ourselves with a suggestive wink, which we did at the start there. So, first one is from James Monteith, and I hope I've pronounced that correctly. So, what is your favourite Rockstar game? Now, Bill, you've been talking about open world games there. So, what is your favourite Rockstar game?
It would have to be GTA, I think. GTA 4. Like I said, I have played it already probably 4 times or something. This is my 5th time now on PC. I just really like it. It's just fun, and it's mainly the actual engine that I like. The physics engine, Euphoria, I think it's called. That basically just makes the game the best thing ever. Like you hit someone with a car, and they just go flying and just rolling on the ground, and when they get drunk in the pub or whatever, they just they fall down, they can't get back up, and they hit their head on the table, and it's just great.
Yeah.
So that would have to be my favorite. I think I do like Red Dead Redemption a lot. I thought that really had that like Clint Eastwood sort of feel to it, going around sort of tying up people and putting them on train tracks and stuff. That's really good. But yeah, GTA is probably my favorite.
Should probably just point out there actually, one of our other writers, Cameron John Harris, wrote a really good retrospective on Red Dead Redemption, I thought, and he talks about how much he loved the game. He's not with us today. He will be with us on a future podcast. But I think that from his point of view, that would probably be his favourite Rockstar game. And he talks about it quite a lot about exactly why. I think my favourite one is it's probably a surprise one actually. It's Bully or Canis.
I didn't actually play that. I haven't played it yet, so you can tell me.
It's really good. I love it. It's actually that, or it's the Warriors, which came out at the end of the last generation. No, actually, the last generation.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, PS2.
Those two are both probably my favourite ones. Bully is open world Rockstar. It's set in a school, and you play as a guy who isn't a bully. Who's kind of you'd think he looks like a bully in a way, like as it's made out, but he's actually fighting against all the bullies and stuff like that for the nerds and what have you. And you basically, it's like a little sort of boarding school with with its surrounding areas. So it's a little town just out there, like your middle of nowhere American town. It's got a carnival attached to it and a beach and some other things like that. And you can just go and run around, get on your bike and just drive around it and all that sort of stuff. But it's such a, it's quite a big world, but it's small enough. It's kind of like, the size of Arkham City.
Oh, yep.
It's about that same size.
Is it just set in a school, or do you walk around the neighborhoods and stuff?
Yeah, it's set in a school. You can walk around the neighborhood. You can go and do tasks for people around the town, like in shops and all that sort of stuff. You can go and beat up random like hoods that are knocking around. You can go to the carnival, go on all the rides, and do all the things on there as well.
Yep.
It's a lot of things. And then obviously there's a lot of stuff in the school as well. You go to lessons in the school where you got to do like chemistry stuff and all that sort of thing. And it's just really fun. It's got a really good vibe to it. It's even though it is an open world, it's so tightly made. Um, it's like nothing else really, like in terms of open world games, like in the sort of setting and everything. And if no one's played it, I mean, it came out the end of PS2 and Xbox, and there was a 360 version of it. I think there was a PlayStation 3 version as well. Um, you'd well pick it up and start playing it because it's it's an excellent game. The Warriors, which is another one that I like as well a lot, is based on the film from the 70s, The Warriors. It's probably, in my opinion, the best game based on a film of all time. It's excellent. It's set. I don't know. Have you seen the film?
Yeah, I've seen the film. I haven't played. I remember seeing it when it first came out. The game on PS2. I think I watched a couple of gameplay videos and it looked pretty good, but I haven't actually played it yet.
Yeah, it's. I'll say a little bit about it because a lot of people probably haven't played it because there's only PS2 and Xbox versions, and there's some sort of rights issue where they couldn't make a DLC version or a games on demand version of it. It's set before the film, so it's about the creation of the Warriors, where they came from, and what happened, and it leads up. It leads up to the film, and the end of the game is basically the film as well. So you get to meet all the warriors from the start and who they were, and all that sort of stuff. And they've all got the correct likenesses and everything. And it's kind of like an open world version of Streets of Rage. You have your base, the warriors' base, and you can do it up. You can get more people to come. You can attract more people to the gang. You have the Coney Island Fair is there, or Carnival, sorry. There you can go around and do stuff. You get invaded by other gangs every so often. You can go and sort them out. And you go on missions and side quests where you go into other gangs' territories and everything. And it's just it's an excellent game. I can never decide when I think of what my favourite Rockstar game is. It's one of those two. Maybe some people will be thinking that I'm being like a sort of contrary fucker by not saying one of the more popular ones. I like those as well. I like Red Dead Redemption a lot. I think that's my favourite recent Rockstar game. But I really like those two, the Warriors and Bully.
I think it just shows how good Rockstar are because we're just saying like we can't make up our minds. Like that's really good.
Yeah.
Like Max, I really.
I'll tell you which
Max
one
Payne.
isn't my favourite one.
What?
My favourite one isn't Max Payne 3,
right.
which I think is fucking rubbish.
I didn't like it compared to the second game, but I just thought it was good. It had those physics again, which are really fun.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the presentation and the actual how it's made is brilliant, but I have a lot of issues with the game, which we haven't got time for to talk here, and it's you know what they are because we played it online on multiplayer quite a bit. And, maybe we'll talk about it another time. Next time we do a FATcast, if someone wants to ask, I will get into more detail about it. But I think it's horrible.
Okay, then. There you go. There's the review. We're gonna have to wrap this up. So
next question there is which defunct series would we like to see return? So the defunct game series we'd like to see return. That was by Zach Rockers. So you can start this one off. Which one would you like to see?
Probably. It's not really like it's dead or anything. It's just sort of out of action. I want to see like Shenmue come back, Shenmue 3, which apparently has actually been made, but it's just waiting to come out. It's just been a long time. I'm not even like a big Shenmue fan, but I really like the world and the characters and everything. And I know that a lot of the Shenmue fans have like put together groups on Facebook, and they have a website, Shenmue Dojo, which is all for the fans. But they're just always putting up petitions to get the game to come out and stuff. So yeah, I just like to see that come back. I think it would just be nice for the fans. What about you?
Yeah, I mean Shenmue would be one. I mean it's a good choice. It's definitely. I love Shenmue 1. I wasn't that much into Shenmue 2, to be honest. I think it started so slowly. You really got to put a lot of time into that one. But yeah, I'd love to see that one. I think for me, other than that, I'd love to see a remake of The Warriors, and I'd love to see a new Bully game as well. Yep. I think the one that I'd always love to see would be a sequel to Eternal Darkness on the GameCube.
Yeah, yep.
That's one of my favourite games of all time. I was working for a computer game store. I was manager of one when it came out on the GameCube, and I got behind it in a big way. We did like a midnight launch for it and everything, and I love it. I think it's a brilliant game. I think it's influenced so many games since as well, with a lot of its sort of like psychological effects in it, and it probably is the most unsettling game I've ever played in my life.
Yeah,
and I love the whole HP Lovecraft.
I haven't played it. I haven't actually played it, but I do hear that it has a lot of these cool effects. Like, doesn't it do stuff like where it pretends you've muted the TV and stuff, and like these weird, just these strange little effects that happen. It sounds really good. Sounds like sort of Silent Hill.
Yeah, there's some big ones like that. There's some like ones where like real sort of like out there ones where you kind of like that one where like the TV just starts muting itself or the volume starts going down, which obviously wouldn't work these days with how TVs looking at that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But there's some real subtle ones as well where like you'd walk down the hallway in the mansion that you mainly was in, and you all the sort of paintings in the hallway would all sort of their eyes would move and look at you, and like you'd kind of like go into your inventory to get something, and then your whole inventory would be empty. And you'd be like, what? You'd be like, geez, what the fuck? And then you go back out and you come back in and all your stuff would be back there, or you'd go and try and save the game and it comes saying your save files corrupt. Like just all this sort of stuff. And there's really cool ones like, and there's other little silly ones where like you'd walk into a room and like the character's arm would fall off and the leg would fall off and the head would fall off and flash and start back again. And obviously we've seen a lot of the Rocksteady with Arkham Asylum really went to town on that sort of stuff. They really were influenced by it. But yeah, I'd love to see a second one. I don't think we ever will, because Silicon Knights apparently just have a couple of people working there now.
Yeah.
And it's a big shame. I'd love to see someone buy the rights of it and really make if they can't make it themselves, and bring it back, because it was a great game. Like, it was great mechanics, great storyline, great characters, and it was a great world to set it in as well. And I'd really, if no one's ever played it, if you can get hold of a copy of it on eBay,
you can get the emulator as well on PC, which is good. I have that. It works fine. So yeah.
Any way that you can legally play it, I recommend it. So next question is from Gareth Burrows, and actually it's kind of two questions merged. It's Gareth Burrows and Ben King. Ben King asked us what our favourite TV shows are that are currently on or have finished, and Gareth Burrows asks us which TV or a film or something like that would we like to see turn into a game series. So, Phil.
Okay. Well, favorite TV show would have to be, well, it used to be The Sopranos. I really liked that. Then I watched Deadwood, and that became my favorite TV show. Yeah. And then I watched Breaking Bad recently, and that's my new one. So it changes all the time. But
Deadwood is my favorite of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to turn into a game, I'd probably choose Breaking Bad. I'm not really sure how it would work, but I just think because there's so many moments. Sorry?
It could be a real-time strategy. Do you remember Godfather 2, where it was like an open-world game, but it had real-time strategy elements? And you could be Walter White cooking up crystal meth in his lab, and then like kind of having setting it up as like a distribution thing, and then going out and having to
like the Sims Drugs Edition. Yeah, it'd just be good because there's so many moments in that show where just like they could be like they're like cooking crystal meth and they're gonna get caught. It's like just really tense. I just think it could work really well. That probably would be the best way to do it. Like Sims. Yeah.
But Breaking Bad. I was just on about Breaking Bad. What about Telltale Games? Sorry, I'm tongue-tied. Telltale Games version of Breaking Bad.
That could work. Yeah. I'm still playing that actually. The Walking Dead. I'm only up to episode 4, so I haven't finished yet. But it's yeah, that could be good. That's got lots of tense moments in it. That thing about making choices on the fly. So yeah, that could be good, definitely.
That kind of template would work for a lot of TV shows, wouldn't it?
Yeah, maybe not that look. I don't really like. I'm not a big fan of cell shading. So yeah, maybe if they just could change the graphics. But yeah, I think that would be good. Yep.
Yeah. So these are favorite TV shows. Deadwood is probably my favorite all time. I absolutely love it. I think it's great. I think it's perfect in every way. From casting to the setting to the amounts of swearing in it. There's some strong swearing in that show.
There is. Yeah, crazy.
So, yeah. Yeah, I like that a lot. I like Arrested Development. I think that's probably the funniest TV show in the last 10 years, I'd say.
Really?
Actually,
I haven't watched it. I don't really watch comedies, but yeah.
Really good. You get it on Netflix. It's really, really good. It's really good. It's only like 20 minutes an episode, and there's a lot of jokes in it, but there's so many kind of visual gags, and it's relentless. Like it's just something going on all the time. It's very, very good. My favourite one that's probably not on anymore, well, apart from Deadwood, and what I'd like to see turned into a game, and this has been turned into games before, but nothing that I don't think was any good, with Battlestar Galactica, the remake
Yep.
of Battlestar Galactica, the modern one. I love Battlestar Galactica. I think it's a brilliant show. I waited till it finished, and I always wanted to watch it. I waited till it finished and bought the box set. And when I moved back over to Ireland, my family are from Ireland, so I moved back over here a few years ago, about 4 years ago, and I didn't have a job or anything, so basically just spent 3 weeks laying in bed watching Battlestar Galactica.
In your underpants.
Yeah, pretty much. I fucking loved it. I couldn't get enough of it. A lot of people don't like the ending of it, but I think it telegraphs what the whole show's about in the mini-series that starts it off and the first episode of the series. And I think it's one of those shows that you need to watch it all very quick together, because I think if you kind of wait and leave it, you kind of forget about a lot of the things that happened in it, and I can see why people wouldn't like the ending for that reason. But as a game, I think it'd work in a variety of different ways. But the way I'd like to see it would be like a Mass Effect style game, but with massive X-Wing style next-gen space warfare as well.
I haven't even watched it, so I can't really comment. Yeah. What about Prey 2? Would that be similar, do you think? That was sort of...
No, not really, no. The thing with Battlestar Galactica is, you've never watched it, so I'll just fill you in on it, is basically humans have human-like creatures on these planets called the 12 colonies in space, and they create robots called Cylons who they use as slaves and what have you, and then they rebel against them and have this war, and then they just basically disappear for 30 years, and then they come back out of nowhere, and they completely, within the space of a couple of hours, wipe out the whole human race apart from one ship called the Battlestar Galactica.
All right.
It's complete genocide of humans, and they're the ones left, and they're hunting them across the galaxy to try and wipe them out. And then the humans find these prophecies that of a place called Earth, which is where they were originally from. So they go and try and find it. And it goes on from there. It's 4 seasons. There's a little film at the start, which is about 2.5 hours, which was a mini-series at first, but it's like a film. And it's it's excellent. It's heavy going. Like it's literally about the genocide of the human race.
You're sitting back in your underpants, like eating popcorn.
I was, yeah. I was like, it's quite heavy stuff. But there's some great characters in it. There's great intrigue. There's plot twists and what have you, and obviously there's all sorts of stuff going on. But I just think it could work as a Mass Effect kind of game, an RPG, shooter RPG. But obviously you would need a big sort of space slant on it as well with warfare. And there's never been a better space fighting game than X-Wing versus TIE Fighter from like 20 years ago. No one's ever done a better version of it. And you just imagine, Rogue Squadron was probably the next best thing, and Rebel Strike and all them lot, but just imagine just a completely next-gen version that just completely goes down as like thousands and thousands of spacecraft going out against each other in space, and then you can just go and dock in your ship and go off and live your life like solving mysteries and what have you and all that sort of stuff. So I think that could work. I'd like to see it. Other things I'd like to see, I'm a massive big reader of books and fantasy in particular. I'd love to see a Wheel of Time game, which apparently Obsidian have the rights for. I'd love to see one of those. So that's that. So last question is from Ryan Clayton. And so we thought we'd answer this one while it's the first FATcast, and hopefully Matt will rejoin us before so he can answer it as well. And this question will probably give you a bit more of a flavour about what sort of things as writers you can expect from us and what sort of things that we like. So Ryan Clayton asks what our favourite game of all time is. So we want to just kind of give a little bit of time for each answer on this one, and we're obviously running out of time a little bit now, and Matt's not here. So
Matt's just turned up. He's just turned up.
Here I am.
Oh, there we go. Oh, that's great timing. So we'll do this one really, really quickly. Basically, Ryan Clayton, it's the last question, wants to know what our favourite game of all time is and why. And we're running out a bit of time, so Matt, if you want to answer this one first, and you can answer it as quickly but in as much depth as you can in a quick amount of time.
Okay. Final Fantasy VII. I just got a PlayStation. I was in the first year of secondary school, and it was just I'd never played an RPG before, not a JRPG, not any other kind of RPG, and I didn't know that games could be that long and have stories that were that long. And I skived off school for a week to play it. I waited till my parents were at the house every day and then snuck back in and played it till I completed it. And so there we go.
Okay, I'll answer next. My favourite game is, if you've been watching the blog from the start, is Deus Ex, the original one. The reason being, I just think it's the perfect game in many ways. Not technically, there's a lot of things technically that is very clunky nowadays and doesn't particularly work. And but I think it just everything in there is about choice, and it empowers you as a gamer to really it just shows you a situation and says deal with it however way you want to do it. And I still think it's every other game in that type of genre are still not bettered it, even this day, 13 years later. I think it's perfect, and I love it to bits, and I still replay the first level to this day as well. I think it's brilliant. So that's me, Bill.
Okay. My favourite would have to be, everyone probably knows this that used to post on Xbox Swords Wall, but my favourite is Hitman 4 Blood Money. I've just played that so much. I don't even want to know how much I've played it. It's probably been like over 1,000 hours. I know all the levels back to back. It's a good game. I just like the choice that you're given in it. Like you start off, it's basically like each area's like a little sandbox. There's all these different ways you can go, and you just got one target to kill. It's just really good. I won't spoil anything in it because everyone just needs to play it if you haven't. But yeah, it's almost, I would say it's almost the perfect game for me. I just love it. So yep.
Good. Okay, brilliant. So that wraps it up for today. That's about all. It's a bit of a long one today for the first one. And we've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed it as well at home who's listening to this. We'll be back again in a couple of weeks. And just for the meantime, please like us on Facebook. Please share us on Facebook, all the stories. Please visit the website, obviously, which is really important to us, and hopefully you're enjoying what we're doing on there. And follow us on Twitter. Your support is what we're all about, and we can't really do this without you guys. So the feedback we've been getting has been overwhelmingly good so far. So we're really, really grateful to what you've been saying. So in the meantime, we'll sign off. You can follow us personally on Twitter as well. I'm at David P. Green 83. Matt is at The Lost Moment, and Bill is at Angelish. That's right, isn't it?
A-N-G, capital E-A-L-S-H. Angelsh.
Yeah.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah. Just to be difficult.
Yeah.
Angelsh, yeah. And obviously we are at Low Fat Gaming. So thanks very much. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let us know what you've liked, what you haven't liked, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks.
Okay,
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.